Today I'm going to be demonstrating how to remove the suspension out of the back of a snowmobile. First thing you're going to need is a ratchet and an extension long enough to get into whatever place you need. You're also going to need a 14mm socket. So I'm going to first start off by taking this front bolt out, partially, because there's a shaft between both sides and you don't want to loosen one side all the way because then the other side will spin. Next, I'm going to remove the second bolt, tunnel. Again, I'm going to remove it partial way because otherwise the other side will spin. And then, for the last and final bolt. Holy cow. That one is really in there. So sometimes they can be pretty stuck. Now we'll go ahead and do the other side. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. Start off by removing this front bolt. It seems like the shaft is luckily not spinning. Okay, again with this tunnel bolt here. Again, that one was in the left too. And then, for the last and final bolt you need to loosen. There we go. The next step is to get the bolts out of the way. I'm going to just use my impact because it's going to make this go a lot faster than if I was to just sit and crank it with a ratchet. And you have a better chance of getting it out of the way. And then for the final bolt. There, as you can see, the suspension's already starting to drop. So as soon as I do the other side and I get that last bolt out, the whole thing will drop. I'll go ahead and do the other side now. Same story on this side. Okay, and then for the final one. And there we go. So the suspension is dropped, but not out yet. So now to show you the very next step. Okay, so the next step is to loosen up this back axle so you can move the two adjusters that are inside of here to get these wheels forward so you can get the suspension out without the track being tight. It is a 19mm on this side and an 18mm on the other side. You just hold it and crack it loose. It's sometimes easier if you do it when it's still mounted, so maybe do that first, but you don't need to take this nut all the way out. Just loosen it like that. Okay, the next step is to loosen the little nut that's inside of there with a 14mm deep well. You just get it close to being all the way out, both sides. Just like that. See? It's almost all the way out, then almost all the way out. Actually, this one can come out a little more. There we go. And there we go. Next step is to tap the wheels forward. With a dead blow or rubber mallet so you can actually get the track loose. There we go. Now the track is loose. Now that the track's loose, the tricky part comes in. I recommend using a ladder with a ratchet strap tied to it to keep the sled up high enough. And then what you do is you come in and you got to kind of fight it around the little lugs inside of the track but basically just kind of got to fight it out. I might need to raise the sled up higher actually, but there we go. I got the sled up a little higher and I started getting it out. So just kind of lift up the track. I would grab onto the back adjuster and you just kind of fight it up, back and out. Getting there. Really close. So now, hey, all right. So there we go. Suspension is out now. Now, basically, just inspect it for any cracks. You can change that spring, which is what I'm doing, or any wheels, grease up the shafts, whatever you need to do. So now you know how to remove the suspension out of the back of a snowmobile.